Welcome to the Portal Podcast on Intune by Britt, your gateway to energy, abundance, and next level freedom. I'm Britt, and here we merge spiritual alignment with practical systems so you can expand your impact, your intuition, and your income. So take a deep breath, tune in, and let's step through the portal together. Welcome back to the Portal Podcast, and I've been so excited to record this episode for you guys because I had a download to do monthly readings here on the podcast, so I'm going to vibe it out. You let me know if you like these and if you want me to continue them, but we just did the Future You Challenge and this 5-day series on the podcast. It was so incredible. There were so many identity shifts and nervous system upgrades and huge breakthroughs that so many of you had and that we experienced together. And if you didn't get into that Future You series, you can still get into it. So I did it here on the podcast. It's on all the places on YouTube, and it was 5 days of mini activations. And it was so incredible. And so then I was looking at the astrology and just tapping in intuitively to March. And it's really, really wild how much it supports what we just did in the Future You series. So I'm going to go into March, what's coming up. If you're listening to this on March 1st, we have a wild ride in front of us here. And this is really about preparation. So if you know me, or if not, I'll give you a little background as far as my connection to astrology and how I work with the collective energy. But I've been following the astrology now for a while, and we're in eclipse season. Mercury is retrograde right now. And as I've started following the astrology more and more over the years, really over the last 10 years, I have used it in a pretty specific way. And it's really how Studio Intune came to life. And it's really cool. And it's really emerging for me of using my practice, the Kundalini practice, with the astrology, with my intuition, and kind of tying it all together. So that's what these energy readings are going to be. And that's really how I use it and what we're doing in Studio Intune. So if you're not a member of Studio Intune, hop in. You can get a free 7-day trial. And actually on March 3rd, we have a wild Virgo eclipse coming up. And so I have an inner alignment ceremony. It's a Kundalini activation with a mini version of Kirtan Kriya and really some activations and journal prompts for you. So that's really what I recommend doing on the March 3rd eclipse. Or you can use it anytime you really want to tap into an inner alignment kind of shift for yourself and realign with where you're at. But this eclipse is big, big, big energy. We had the last eclipse, and eclipse season always brings huge change. So looking back on my life, I have had the most wild, unexpected shifts that I could never have predicted or imagined prior during eclipse season. So it's one of those energies that prepare to be surprised in the best way. And this Virgo lunar eclipse is all about like where structure meets surrender because we're in Pisces season. So it's a really cool balance because Virgo is a lot about like discipline and daily habits. And then Pisces is very dreamy and ethereal and intuitive. So it's really everything that I love in general. It's all about balance and, balancing our own energies, balancing our thoughts. It's about the merging of like the human and the discipline and the daily actions and more of the masculine structure with the Pisces, divinely connected, intuitively led, feminine flow. So this is my jam. This is literally pretty much my full philosophy on life and business is connected to these energies that we're working with. So before I dive totally into everything that's coming this month, I wanted to give you a little life biz update with what's going on with me. And I'm really just loving the podcast, first of all. So I just want to thank you guys for being on the journey, for being here. Your messages, anybody that's rating the podcast, reviewing it, that's sharing it, and tagging me really is so motivating. And it helps me to really feel into this energy and how it wants to be created. And it really does feel like this moving, living, breathing creation that we're collectively doing together. So just know that I feel your energy so strongly, and we are co-collaborating together for just the evolution of how this podcast is unfolding. And it means so, so, so much to me. And I'm having so much fun. And really, it's taking on a mind of its own. And so I did the first couple episodes. I had Remington on, I had Shelly on, I did the Future You series. And now these monthly energy updates and intuitive readings came through. So I'm just flowing as it comes. I'm having a lot of people reach out that are so aligned, that want to sponsor the podcast. I'm figuring out how we can connect everything that I'm doing at Intune by Britt, and it's really fun. So I'm just having so much fun with it. And I'm such a nerd. Like when I'm diving into the astrology, when I'm setting up each season on Studio Intune and what meditations we're going to be doing and what ceremonies and what I'm recommending for the new moons and the full moons and for the seasons, I really get so excited. So a little bit more about what I'm up to is I've been mentioning it a little bit and hinting it here and there, but when was it? It was probably like 5 or 6 years ago. I started just really feeling like I wanted to do a Kundalini teacher training. And it started kind of hinting because so many people that were practicing Kundalini with us would ask, "Hey, where did you get trained? I want to become a teacher. How do you suggest I go about getting trained?" So, I've recommended hundreds, if not thousands of people to other people's teacher trainings over the years. And, there was little breadcrumbs, which I'm sure you understand with your own, messages and downloads that you get over time that just started to show me how having a teacher training would really fit into my whole mission and everything else I was creating at the time and was really being called to create. So it felt like, just that little intuitive whisper that was like, hey, one day you might want to do a teacher training. And it felt pretty far off in the future at the time, but I definitely was seeing visions of it. A while back, Tara and I had a call with Yoga Alliance and was starting to take some actions around it, but it felt like this big endeavor, like this big undertaking that felt really hard and challenging and was going to take a long time, and that, we maybe weren't ready for at the time. But now it has just continued to breadcrumb, like would not leave me, kept nudging me, kept coming into my meditations. And then when I did White Tantric in November, I believe, of 2025, it was pretty much the main message of the day. So if you've never done White Tantric before, it's a full, like all day, 8-hour long deal where you're working with this beautiful Z Kundalini, like tantric energy. And I did it at summer solstice. Summer solstice is the only place, and winter solstice, where you can do White Tantric for 3 days. But they have it in most big cities for at least 1 day, typically like twice a year. So I did this in November, and that was the main message of the day for me is, Britt, you got to do it. I know it's scary. I know it feels like a big undertaking, but this is a big part of your mission. This is a big part of what you're supposed to do, and it's time. And so really, I'm taking my own advice and I'm really taking a big leap before I feel anywhere near ready. But I'm having so much fun with it. I've literally been reading all of these books. I've been tying so much of my Kundalini knowledge together, my teacher training, all different Kundalini lineages. I'm really tapping into so much of my own journey, so much of what has helped me. I'm really tying in the business side of it, how to really create your own way to bring Kundalini to light. And so anyways, that's kind of like a big update that I'll be sharing more about soon, but that's something that I've really been working on in a big way. So much is just coming through. Finn, my youngest, is turning 6 this Pisces season. So she is a March 14th baby. She's very Pisces, and she's taught me so much about the Pisces energy. And as a Cancer sun, I, really connect with other Cancer signs in a big way. And I really understand like the water element and just the dreamy Cancer energy. So I love this. So I'll have all her birthday stuff coming up and just flowing and having a lot of fun. And really for me, just allowing the year to kind of settle and ground is what I'm feeling right now. So to be honest, I haven't even finished my full vision board for the year yet. But with the year of the snake ending and the fire horse energy coming in, I'm just kind of like flowing and letting it land. And Pisces season and really the spring equinox that's coming on March 20th with Mercury going direct and all of this eclipse energy to me really feels like the actual new year. And so many people feel this way. I don't know how you feel, but if you really tune in and tap in kind of the traditional calendar, the Gregorian calendar typically doesn't align with most intuitive conscious light workers as much as the seasonal calendar does. And so when you think of the spring energy, it's the new, fresh, like birthing energy of the new flowers and everything that is coming out of winter. And really, winter doesn't really intuitively feel like the right time to, plant new seeds and start new, fresh, like manifestations and goals. So if you've been feeling that way too, you're not alone. And it's really a good time to plant seeds, start manifestations, and kind of ground in a little bit deeper what you want your year to be. So I'm going to go through a little bit more about what's coming up and what we're doing and how you can prepare and really align and harmonize with this beautiful March energy. Okay, so overall for the month, we're starting with this Pisces dreamy energy, which for me intuitively is really calling for a lot of surrender and alignment. And then we're going to move into Aries season, which really helps us to take action, which is more masculine and moving things forward. And then I want to dive in a little bit more into this eclipse because it's really big. Like I said, eclipse seasons are huge and they can really support us. So if you want the practice, definitely get into my inner alignment ceremony in Studio Intune. That will really help you. And my core affirmation for this March 3rd Virgo eclipse is this: my daily life supports my divine mission. My daily life supports my divine mission. So you can tweak it however you want, like make it work for you. But to me, it's really anchoring in this fact that everything I do every day is all adding up brick by brick, which is my overall life approach, life and business approach. Everything I do every single day, the brick by brick, every mini action, every meditation, every workout, every hydration and water that I'm drinking and supplement that I'm taking all adds up and is supporting my divine mission. And so it's really allowing us to connect in and understand how everything that you're doing every day and any goals that you have for your daily rituals and what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you're consuming, who you're surrounding yourself, what you are doing each day is really all connected to your big divine dream and any bigger goals that you have for the year. And that's what this energy is going to really help us solidify, I would say. So just pay attention, to anything that you're being called to eclipse out of your daily routines, or anything that's really being called to come in. So if you saw, I was definitely influenced on the vibration plates, and I'm absolutely obsessed. I've been doing them for a long time, but had to get a personal one. And just anything, like anything that you're being called to do. Maybe you're being called to wake up a little bit earlier or switch something about your routine. Really listen to those whispers or very kind of small nudges that may seem insignificant or like they're not that big of a deal. Just know that they do all add up, and they might be very, very connected to your overall goals and manifestations for the year. And it's also just another reminder that everything you do every day either supports your bigger mission or drains it or is kind of going out of alignment with it. So really just letting that anchor in, really connecting the dots on how beautiful and like strong and powerful that is and what that looks like for you right now. Okay, so the other thing that I'm really pulling in when I tap into the astrology and also my intuition with this March 3rd eclipse is that it's like a life audit. It really is. So it's a really good time to just look at, how do I want to audit my life? What else do I want to look at shifting? And some questions that I have for you are, where are your systems not matching your ambition? So are there any systems that are like, that's kind of connected to my old self, not really aligned with what I'm creating, my future self? Where is disorganization draining your energy? And where are you being called to organize things in a different way or a better way? And where are you over giving or over functioning? So these are 3 really powerful questions that you can journal about or just intuitively tap into that can help you with this audit that this Virgo eclipse and full moon is bringing. And this can really be helpful at any time. But right now, especially, this refinement will bring such expansion and is really going to support everything that we have in front of us here. And then that is really important because Mercury is also in retrograde. And like I said, it's going direct on March 20th when we go into Aries season, when the spring equinox starts. It's going direct. And so a lot of people are so afraid of Mercury retrogrades. And, I'm sure you experienced it before. But for me, I really just look at it as another time to reevaluate. And it's a time where things slow down a little bit and we're being asked to slow down. It doesn't mean that things have to slow down as far as your manifestations or what you're creating, but it just asks us to get more into alignment and to really like take your time and be really present, I guess is what I would say. Presence is actually more aligned for me than slowing down. It's just more presence. It's making the most of each moment and really paying attention to everything really clearly so that you can clearly see and evaluate. Again, anything that wants to shift or move is always such a big theme of Mercury retrogrades. And so Mercury is always about the thoughts. And then this Mercury retrograde in Pisces is really going deeper with our subconscious beliefs and just thoughts and ideas. So we're really being called to look at, what thoughts are you thinking? What stories are you telling yourself? And what ideas and beliefs and identities are you holding that are being asked to be reevaluated or being asked to be released or shifted or changed? And so Pisces rules the unconscious. So if you feel like a lot is clearing or coming up, for my Rise Up girls, you might want to go back to the subconscious reorientation. In general, in Kundalini yoga, Fist of Anger is a really good one to do. It just is this subconscious energy of bringing things up and looking at the subconscious and like looking at, what are my thoughts? What are my beliefs? What are the stories that I'm telling myself? Um, Also, like any just belief systems that you have, just looking at them, like looking at them with love is such a great thing to do in any retrogrades. Looking at any victim narratives and anything that is a story that you're telling yourself that is connected more with victim versus empowerment, and just really look at how that can alchemize and how you can just release any victimhood or ideas that you're not fully in your power, or any places where you're giving your power away to other people, places, things, situations, ideas. So it's going to be really supportive to do this during this time. That's why journaling during this time, especially after meditation, can be really helpful. Meditating early in the morning with the sadhana hours can be really helpful during this time. And just looking at like any ways that you're escaping reality, numbing, avoiding anywhere you're getting too much into fantasy and it's kind of disconnecting you from your sovereignty, from yourself, from your presence, and look at, how you can release that or shift that. So really for the first 20 days of March before the spring equinox, what I'm really seeing is we're just like revisiting the stories underneath our ambition, and like really the stories beneath the stories, the ideas behind the thoughts. So just pay attention to it and just be open to surprises. Be open to allowing this eclipse energy, the Mercury retrograde energy, the Pisces energy to do its thing and to show us what needs to be shown. And that's a really good prayer, is show me what needs to be shown. So just think of this time before March 20th as like revision time, and don't be surprised what comes up to be revised. The best advice I can give you is don't bypass anything that comes up for revision. What I do is I just like meditate through it. So just meditate through it. Just use the meditation, use the energy work to support you to get clarity, to clear, and to understand and co-create with the universe on the next right action and what is the best action for you. A couple other things that are happening before the big March 20th, which is the astrological new year on March 20th, is we also on March 10th have Jupiter going direct. So it's big. There's so much big astrology this month, but Jupiter is all about expansion. And so on March 10th, you will probably feel more confidence. There's energy to tap into of more confidence and more expansion. And with the Kundalini energy, the Jupiter energy and like Jupiter going direct is very much about magnetism and the aura. So we can really use it to strengthen our aura and to tap into our magnetism. So this is really big, and money will follow this projection. So it's a lot of like big money energy that starts especially on the 20th as well. But Jupiter, the planet of expansion, really helps us, and that starts to move and open up in different ways. So when Jupiter goes direct, it's a lot more momentum around optimism and confidence. And in Kundalini yoga and more of the spiritual tradition, the planet Jupiter is really tied to the magnetic aura and just our magnetism. So we can really work with the aura. Thursday is Jupiter Day, if you follow how the days are connected to the planets. And I'll probably do a whole podcast episode on that. But Thursday is Jupiter Day. It's more the day of the guru, and you can really tap into more expansion. So I'm going to share a little bit more about what's coming up for money minting season that we're starting on March 20th. But it's why it's really recommended to do Jupiter meditations if you're working on your prosperity on Thursday. So there's a Jupiter business meditation that we're going to be doing every Thursday starting March 20th, the next Thursday that comes up. And Thursdays are a really good day to tap into the expansion energy, the Jupiter energy, and things around like money and movement in that direction. So we have that Jupiter direct that is on our side and helping us. And then on March 18th, we have the Pisces new moon. And if you're taking tons of notes or you're like, oh my gosh, this is so much, just know if you're a Studio Intune member, I have all this in a full downloadable for you that you can download and print out and always have. And I have the full calendar for the meditations that are recommended for all of these transits and all the big days. So if you don't want to take notes, you can just print that out and it's on the app. But we also have a really powerful new moon. So the new moon is on March 18th, the Pisces new moon. And so that's also going to be really helping us with this reinvention and also just this refining season. So just pay attention on the 18th, what new things are coming to you because of all of the energy and just what I'm tapping into. Pay attention to anything around new revenue stream ideas, new business ideas, things that you're being called to tap into or to start doing more. Just pay attention to anything that's coming to your imagination or anything that feels like, wow, that feels really exciting. That's something I would love to do because Pisces is all about the imagination. It's also all about spiritual conception. So anything that you're feeling spiritually or feeling called to that feels just a calling and might feel more of a feeling than a thought or idea, pay attention to how that might continue to evolve. So for this 18th new moon, it's also just a lot of innovation. So any ways you're calling to innovate, maybe something you already have created, just pay attention to that as well. And then we also have a harmonization with Uranus with this Pisces full moon. So that's a lot of like breakthroughs and new ideas. So any new ideas, do not brush them off. Write them down, really ground them in your reality, even if it's for a little bit in the future or a lot in the future, you definitely want to ground them and pay attention and really fully receive anything that comes in on that new moon. And then to round all of this out, we have the biggest day of the month, March 20th. So really look at your calendar, look at what you have planned on that day, see if you can kind of clear your calendar. It should be a celebration. It should be a day that you can be outside, if possible, in nature. It's the spring equinox. It's a time of the astrological new year. Mercury goes direct, so a lot of energy will open up with forward momentum, forward movement, and it's just really the start of a new season. So I'm so excited. And if you've never heard of it before, in the spiritual tradition, the Kundalini tradition, it's also when we move into Aries on March 20th called money minting season. Okay. So we can tap into just more expansion, more money, making money in ways that are more aligned. And also the Kundalini energy and the spiritual scriptures, it goes into money minting season. So if you've never tapped into money minting season with Aries season really helps us take things into action. So that's the big shift out of Pisces season into action, into initiation. And with the money minting season, it's all about prosperity. And so if you've studied prosperity, especially with Kundalini, the more energetics and, just spiritual money energy, it's really about tapping into your prosperity. And prosperity is described in the spiritual scriptures as the fragrance of a flower. So it's really looking at ways that you can emit a higher frequency, a more aligned frequency, a more prosperous frequency that is tuned in and tapped in with your gifts, your joy, your alignment, your talents, really your mission and what you came here to this planet to do. And how can we amplify that and expand that with prosperity? And so we're going to be really working with it in big ways. If you've never worked with money minting season, it's the time where we can really go big. We can really expand our wealth. And it's really about how can we bring in more wealth in a way that's more aligned for us, for more impact and more mission. So I'm really, really excited about it. I'm excited to come together and dive into it deeper. And this is a time in past seasons when I've aligned with the prosperity meditations, with the Jupiter business meditations, with doing a 40-day practice. I highly recommend starting a 40-day practice on the spring equinox when I've really been able to ground and secure and manifest new and different revenue streams, new ways of bringing in money, new shifts that are wanting to be had and be taken for a new chapter. And it's really this opportunity to choose a new path or to choose a more aligned path. And it's really about being a woman who initiates more aligned wealth versus being in any sort of like chasing energy towards it. So the last big transit of the month is on March 28th, where Saturn sextiles Pluto. So this really brings more long-term transformation. So it's really about anything like long-term that wants to reform. It definitely has a maturity to it, and we can really use it with all of this energy to support us stepping into a more grounded, mature, next identity, future version of yourself. So with that, especially, it's really not about quick cash, even though we can manifest like quick money coming in, but it is more about like long-term wealth and how do we want to position ourselves and our offerings and what we're creating and what we're doing around wealth building in a way that feels really exciting and good for us. Because this money minting season is all about consistency. So why in Kundalini is 40 days a thing? And why do we do 40-day meditations? And why is it recommended for the spring equinox? Because it does have science behind it. It has the energetics behind it. There's a lot of spiritual motivation and tradition behind it as far as how doing something for 40 days can rewire your brain. It rewires a new habit and it can release old habits. And when you've done a meditation for 40 days, you see that the commitment, the consistency, the devotion, the layers that you go in each day with releasing and opening up new energy rewrites your story. It can rewrite your destiny and it rewires your subconscious and it rewires new patterns. So it's really powerful. If you've never done it, I highly recommend it. So I'm so excited to share that I created a money minting season. We're going to all come together. I'm basically putting it together in a way that makes it really easy for us all to start a new 40-day meditation. I'm going to be doing workshops every week and having guest workshops every day. So we're doing this whole 40-day money minting season together. On Thursdays, we're doing the Jupiter business meditations. I'm going to be sharing more ways to sell and release any like weird woo-woo like blocks around selling or anything weird in your energy field around sharing your gifts. I'm going to be really supporting everyone to move forward with this money minting season to bring in more prosperity, more wealth, more alignment through the practices, through the workshops, through the actions. Especially with the Aries season, it's so supportive for taking action. And we're going to be doing it together. So I created a whole community. I have beautiful practices for you. I'm going to be doing the live workshops and it's all available for you. Also, something really exciting I'm doing to help you tap into more wealth is when you join, not only do you get to join and receive everything, but if you want to share it, invite your friends, invite your family, invite your community, share it on social media. I am doing it in a way where you can not only get commission, but also when you hit different amounts of people that you bring in, I'm going to have amazing prizes because I really want this to be a collaboration. I want you to be motivated and inspired to invite people in to share this and to practice sharing and selling and to really make it just like a huge community, fun, exciting event for all of us to do together. So I'm sharing it here first on the podcast. I'll be sharing more about it, but you can get in. I have an early bird, crazy, wild. It's only going to be $33 for this first pre-sale for it. And then it will go up to $44. But you can sign up below and get all the information to sign up as an ambassador, to invite people in, to get all of your commission and prizes and to do this all together. And it's not about being perfect. It's just about improving every day. It's just about showing up in a capacity that feels good, showing up bigger and brighter every day and more aligned. So I'm really excited for this whole month. I'm really excited for the money minting season. And I hope that this energy reading and just kind of laying it all out for you and kind of really being present with what's to come the month ahead will really be supportive for you. This is really what I do to plan my months ahead, to do my calendars, to plan my days, to look at, what I want to do and what my manifestations and goals are for the month and what actions I'm going to take, what timelines I'm doing, and what practices I'm tapping into. So I really want to support you. And this is just another way with the money minting season that you can be fully supported and that I can share my gifts and my love and my support and my mentorship and guidance for you. So I'm excited to do this all together for money minting season. Cannot wait for March for all of us. It's going to be a big, beautiful, expansive month, a big, expansive eclipse season, and astrological new year. So let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if you liked this energy reading, and come back for the next episode on the podcast coming so soon. And again, I will leave the link below to join us in money minting season. All right. Lots of love. Happy March. Satnam. Thank you for stepping through the portal with me today. If you loved this episode, I would so appreciate you leaving a review and email it to podcast@intunebybrit.com to grab my free spiritual CEO guide, ChatGPT prompts for content and daily schedules and checklists, and my morning ritual checklist to help you to stay aligned and in flow. Come back for the next episode and let's keep rising, expanding, and flowing together through the portal. Satnam, lots of love.